Let's talk about fear. Some people are afraid of big scary roller coasters. Some people fear spiders. Some people have a fear of public speaking. For the coaster enthusiasts out there, I want to unlock a new fear: witnessing one of your favorite roller coaster manufacturers potentially closing down. That's right, I'm talking about the potential end of Rocky Mountain construction. I know I'm not the first to make a video about this subject, which is partly why I delayed it till now, but seriously, I think if we really want to get into the vibe of Spooky Month, we need to confront something truly terrifying. I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what you're thinking. How could RMC fail? They've made some of the best coasters out there. Everyone loves them. It is true that parkgoers across the world love coasters built by RMC, almost unanimously. However, this company's relationships with the parks their coasters are installed at may be very different. Many of their coasters have caused more than a few issues for these parks and have become maintenance nightmares. Other parks have, in contrast, had extremely few issues with these coasters. All of this, combined with a few other key points, starts to paint a picture that RMC may not have the best outlook for the future. Rocky Mountain Construction is a roller coaster manufacturer based out of Hayden, Idaho, and was founded in 2001 by Fred Grubb. The company got their start as contractors for building amusement attractions designed by other companies. In 2009, Alan Schilke joined their team as a designer and helped them come up with the unique iBox track. This track was special, as it strays away almost completely from the traditional tubular steel that most modern roller coasters use. Because of its design, this track is able to handle much higher forces and be bent in ways that wooden coaster track couldn't before. Rocky Mountain Construction then went on to build their first coaster, New Texas Giant. This coaster was built upon the remains of the original wooden coaster, Texas Giant, and kept much of the original support structure. Some of the layout was changed to add some extra thrill and truly make this ride new and unique. This coaster proved to be an incredibly popular among parkgoers and was lauded as a major success for the company. Shortly after this, Six Flags was ordering hybrid conversions like hotcakes. We had Iron Rattler, Medusa Steel Coaster, Twisted Colossus, Wicked Cyclone, and more. RMC quickly rose in popularity, and the question became, where's the next one going? All things were going fairly well, and more companies took notice. Now comes 2018. Cedar Point is looking for something new. Just like they always do, they want something impressive. The target was Mean Streak. This wooden coaster was rough and unpopular, and RMC came in with a proposal that was incredibly exciting: Steel Vengeance. This 200-foot tall behemoth is commonly ranked as one of the best roller coasters in the world, but it was the coaster that arguably revealed some of RMC's biggest weaknesses. This company specializes in giving new life to unpopular coasters, but sometimes they fail to do some highly essential calculations to ensure their coasters are built to last. From day one, the ride had issues. Otherwise known as quote-unquote the bump, two trains suffered a minor collision on the final brake run early on its opening day. This caused the coaster to close down for the rest of the day, and soon enough, more problems were discovered. It turns out that the structural reinforcing done by RMC wasn't substantial enough and was seeing wear far sooner than anticipated. Since opening, Steel Vengeance has continued to have structural issues and has proven to be a decent headache for Cedar Point. Despite this, it still remains one of the most popular roller coasters at the park. This pattern reared its ugly head mostly whenever RMC decided to build something completely new from the ground up. In this case, Cedar Point asked RMC to redesign their trains so that they were more flexible. These trains were much heavier than originally anticipated and caused most of the issues we see today with this ride. Other examples of these problems are seen on RMC's single rail coasters, also known as the Raptor model. Several times over the years, these coasters have closed so that RMC could make modifications to their trains. They had several design flaws that meant that the wheel assemblies were wearing down far quicker than anticipated. Many of these issues have been improved upon since, but to a historically picky company like Cedar Fair, it's difficult for RMC to earn their reputation back. In more recent developments, RMC merged with Larson International in 2023, the same year which also saw the retirement of Fred Grubb. So the full extent of the question I'm posing is whether or not RMC is on a downward trend, and if there is a chance that they could see challenges keeping their company open in the near future. Even if we come to the conclusion that they are indeed struggling and don't have good outlooks for the future, doesn't mean they can't adapt to the market. That is the entire goal of a business in the first place, to remain viable and increase profits. If RMC stays on what seems to be its present course, there is a chance that many potential clients could overlook them. This could prove to be the opposite of the truth as well. Really, the idea is to investigate many of their trends and use these to determine what my prediction will be for the future of this company. So what made me think of this question? What made me ask whether or not RMC is on the trajectory towards failure? Well, at a glance, there appears to be some mild trends. While there hasn't been any official confirmation, it seems like certain amusement park companies are choosing not to work with RMC any longer, and some of their coasters have proven to be problematic enough that they may give pause to potential clients in the future. It's always interesting to speculate on trends and analyze the results from there, at least for nerds like me. You can consider this video a slight response to a video by Theme Park Media titled "The Rising Uncertainty of Rocky Mountain Construction." I highly recommend watching this video because he did a really good job with it. He did paint a fairly pessimistic viewpoint, but after my analysis of this subject, things may not be as bleak as they appear to be at first glance. Let's start this analysis with everyone's favorite things: numbers. RMC has been building roller coasters since 2011, so I decided to take it upon myself to compare multiple manufacturers and their total output of coasters from year to year. Let's take a look at these graphs. One thing I want to preface here first is that RMC does not currently make small kiddie coasters. Many of these manufacturers that you see here have roller coaster models that are tiny, easily reproducible, and cheap for parks to purchase. As you can see, however, every year that RMC has been in business, their installations have stayed relatively low. This doesn't necessarily mean that their attractions are unpopular with parks, but at the very least, their ability to produce rides is not at a volume compared to some of the older manufacturers. It still does paint RMC as having less demand compared to their competition. One of the most interesting things that stuck out to me when looking at these numbers is how much lower the output is of manufacturers located in North America. This would include S&S Worldwide, Premier Rides, Rocky Mountain Construction, Chance Rides, Gravity Group, and GCI. These manufacturers, like RMC, generally don't make small kiddie coasters, and the competition is much more fierce. This graph paints a much more optimistic picture for the company then. RMC is tied with S&S for being the most successful North American manufacturer. If we take a more granular look at just RMC and the coasters they've built by year, we can see that they were at their strongest from 2016 to 2019. These are the same years we saw some of the biggest and baddest installations from them, but as you can see, the charts die down quite considerably, then stabilize right after. So what other factors besides the number of coaster installations should we consider? This would be the existence of their more problematic rides. First, their single rail coasters have experienced some issues related to their trains, like I mentioned earlier. The first of these models were installed in 2018 and have seen a total of 5 installations currently, with 3 more on the way. These coasters show a slow growth, but still growth nonetheless. Simultaneously, in 2018, we saw the installations of Steel Vengeance and Twisted Timbers. Both of these coasters have been a bit of a headache for the former Cedar Fair company-owned parks. 2018 seems like simultaneously the best and worst year for this company. It saw the highest number of installations in a single year for RMC, and also the most problematic coasters. Could this paint a picture of overworked employees at the company? I'm not sure, but it seems like RMC bit off more than they could chew, and there's a chance that this hurt their reputation. Now, here's the craziest thing to me. The era of hybrid conversions may be coming to a close for RMC. For most of their history, they focused on revitalizing wooden coasters. But if you look at what is currently being built, we've got new, ground-up single-rail coasters. This appears to be a new bid by RMC to capitalize on the public appeal of these coaster models. Hey, maybe now the kinks have been worked out. This coaster model can see the potential widespread success it was meant to have. Now, it's difficult to really say what could happen with this company. RMC has historically been the fixers of the coaster world and found their biggest success there. Their ground-up models had the biggest problems in contrast. So will this shift into almost entirely ground-up be the way forward with them? With the merger of RMC and Larson International, there is a chance that some industry vets can come in and help improve things at the company, and maybe help diversify their portfolio. I can't ignore the fact that the candidates for wooden roller coasters that could be converted into hybrids is extremely low at this point. There are a ton of wooden coasters out there that hold historical value by keeping their existing layouts. Converting these could potentially be seen as unfavorable to general audiences. Most of the parks that could have used a hybrid conversion got one, and the ones that haven't don't show any indication of this changing anytime soon. This is why it seems like RMC is scrambling to introduce new models to entice potential clients. We first saw this with the introduction of the Family Hybrid Coaster, and then the Wild Moose. This second proposal, in my opinion, is the most likely one to see success, but only time will tell. RMC has also been attempting to increase its revenue flow by creating 208 Retrack. This steel track is designed to replace sections of wooden track on roller coasters without changing their layout. This is their one bid of attaining some supplemental income, but even this has shockingly few investors. Take into consideration, it doesn't help that their competitor, GCI, had a very similar idea not too long ago. I have a feeling that RMC is going to settle into a role similar to the rest of its North American cousins. They won't install a huge amount of coasters, but will continue to produce larger scale, high-thrill models that make a splash wherever they arrive. I think the biggest challenge for them is going to be figuring out how to diversify their lineup successfully. If you look at a manufacturer like B&M, they offer models such as their dive machine, floorless coasters, inverted family coasters, wing coasters, flying coasters, and more. You can have multiple B&Ms in a single park, and there would be little to no overlap. With RMC, you have hybrid coasters and single rail coasters. Again, with the merger, we could easily see this change, but it's hard to see if the direction will be much different than their current single rail-led future. With everything I've covered, I feel like it might be lost what my actual analysis of this situation is. So to rephrase it, I believe RMC has a fair chance of succeeding in the future. They will certainly be slowing down considerably, but I don't think we've nearly seen the last of them yet. I think the true marker of success would be to see one of the bigger chains like Disney or Universal purchasing one of their coasters. There are an unlimited number of possibilities for what the future holds, but I'm on the more optimistic side. We'll just have to wait until after next year to see how successful these ground-up single rails can be. I have hope that they can do well and actually find new life through this model, and maybe even similar new models too. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and comment below and hit that bell icon. Special thanks to our Patreon supporter, Future Collective. $1 a month helps me bring even more content to you guys, and I even have some exclusive content coming, so check it out. Check the description below to find links to the rest of our pages. Thanks for watching the video, and ride on, Coaster Maniacs!